When I turned 14, my dad and my mom kind of split up, and I said, great, I quit, because now he's out of the picture.
Wood says his passion for acting is rivaled only by his love of music.
Let's have a breakdance party. I've DJed with it a couple of times. It's pretty awesome.
I realized that I was transgender around 2000, and I didn't start my transition until 2009.
Little Rascals star Brandon Bug Hall has been arrested on suspicion of inhaling air duster.
Ever wonder what happened to your favorite childhood stars? From overnight fame to shocking transformations. These former child actors have lived through it all. Fame, struggles, reinventions, and powerful comebacks. Let's dive into the real journeys of 10 unforgettable child stars and where they are today. Macaulay Culkin. Many call him by his nickname, Mac. In 1990, Home Alone turned Macaulay Culkin into a global superstar overnight. With that mischievous grin and booby traps galore, Kevin McAllister became every kid's dream, and Culkin, the most famous child in the world. But while audiences laughed, Macaulay was facing a storm backstage. By just 14, he had made $476 million globally from hits like My Girl, Home Alone 2, and Richie Rich. But his personal life? Crumbling. His father, Kit Culkin, was reportedly controlling, even abusive. Their legal war over Macaulay's fortune made headlines. In 1995, he did the unthinkable. He emancipated himself from his parents and vanished from Hollywood.
When I turned 14, my dad and my mom kind of split up, and I said, great, I quit, because now he's out of the picture.
Years later, he re-emerged. Not chasing fame, but bending it. He starred in cult films like Party Monster and Saved, started a parody band, The Pizza Underground, and launched a weird, hilarious podcast, Bunny Ears, mocking fame, while still living in its shadows, strange, sarcastic, and totally self-aware. In 2021, he quietly became a father with actress Brenda Song, naming their son Dakota in memory of his late sister. Then in 2023, he stood proud on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, beside his Home Alone mom, Catherine O'Hara. He didn't just survive fame, he outsmarted it. Elijah Wood. Parents nicknamed him Sparkplug before he ever held the One Ring. Elijah Wood was already making quiet waves as a child actor. Films like The Good Son and North showcased his emotional range, but everything changed when he became Frodo Baggins in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. From 2001 to 2003, Elijah stepped into legend. Global fame, awards, and a place in pop culture immortality. But while most would chase more blockbusters, Wood turned the other way. He refused to be typecast. Instead, he disappeared into the shadows of indie cinema and horror. He founded Spectrevision, a production company pushing genre-bending films like A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night. He backed stories no one else would. He even launched a music label, Simeon Records, sharing his love for underground art and sound. Far from the tabloids, Elijah chose passion projects over popularity.
Wood says his passion for acting is rivaled only by his love of music.
Let's have a breakdance party. I've DJed with it a couple of times. It's pretty awesome.
He voiced animated characters, starred in dark comedies, played a cannibal in Come to Daddy. This wasn't the Frodo we knew. This was an artist, quietly reinventing himself. On his own terms. Unlike many child stars, Elijah didn't burn out. He evolved. Middle-earth was just the beginning. The real journey began after the credits rolled. Christina Ricci is nicknamed Squant by her sibling. Christina Ricci didn't just play Wednesday Addams. She became the gothic blueprint for an entire generation. With her deadpan stare and razor-sharp wit in The Addams Family and its sequel, Ricci ruled the 90s as the child star who felt different. While others smiled for the spotlight, she stared it down. She brought a dark, intelligent edge, and it worked. But growing up under that same spotlight wasn't easy. Ricci later revealed her struggle with anorexia as a teen. Shaped by Hollywood's crushing pressure to stay thin, she didn't conform. She rebelled.
She knows who she is.
Yeah.
She's never going to conform.
Yeah.
She's never going to try to be what everybody thinks she should be. She'll never change to please anyone. I mean, that's pretty great.
She dove into risky indie films like The Ice Storm and Buffalo 66, playing characters with sharp flaws and heavy emotions. As she matured, Ritchie made headlines again, this time for confronting the sexualization of young women in the industry. Roles in Prozac Nation and Black Snake Moan, with controversial nudity scenes, weren't about shock. They were about taking control of her image, her body, her narrative. Today, Ritchie is back as the eerie, unpredictable Misty Quigley in Yellow Jackets, a performance earning her fresh critical acclaim. She'll soon voice Catwoman in Batman, Caped Crusader, the perfect dark heroine for a dark princess of the screen. Ritchie didn't just survive Hollywood's machine, she haunted it.
Anna Chlumsky is widely known as Vada Sultanfuss. Anna Chlumsky is widely as Vada Sultanfuss in My Girl, 1991. Anna Chlumsky didn't just act. She shattered hearts. As Vada Sultanfuss, she was curious, vulnerable, and painfully real. Her grief on screen was so raw, audiences often forgot she was acting at all. She returned in My Girl 2, 1994, but soon after she vanished. Not to rehab, not to scandal, but to something even more radical. Normal life, burned out by the pressures of child stardom, and frustrated with the industry's shallow scripts for young women.
Well, the kissing scene was kind of hard.
Were you a little nervous?
Yeah, sort of nervous. It was just, we just wanted to get it over with.
Chlumsky stepped back. She enrolled at the University of Chicago, worked in publishing and fact-checking. She was done with Hollywood, but the pull of storytelling never left her. She studied acting again, this time on her own terms, and then, in 2012, came her defining second act, Amy Bruckheimer in HBO's Veep. Sharp-tongued, stressed, politically brilliant, Amy was nothing like Vada, and that's exactly why it worked. Chlumsky earned 6 Emmy nominations, proving she wasn't a nostalgic memory. She was a serious force. Today, Anna continues to act in select roles, balancing motherhood, marriage, and life far from the spotlight. No scandals, no gimmicks, just work she believes in. Her story isn't one of redemption. It's about boundaries, reinvention, and coming back when you decide the time is right. Brooke Shields is commonly known as Brookie at just 12 years old. Brooke Shields was thrust into controversy with her role in Pretty Baby, 1978, portraying a child in a brothel. It sparked outrage and fascination, a disturbing blend that would follow her for years. 2 years later, she starred in The Blue Lagoon, 1980, again stirring public debate with her sexualized portrayal while still underage. Hollywood adored her beauty, but rarely protected her innocence. At just 15, she became the face of Calvin Klein, whispering the now infamous line, "You want to know what comes between me and my Calvins? Nothing."
Calvin Klein's jeans commercials.
I tell you, it's so funny because I didn't even know what a big thing it was.
Behind the glamour was a teenage girl, being treated like an adult far too soon, and the cameras, they never stopped rolling. Despite the early trauma, Shields kept going. She attended Princeton University, battled public ridicule over her intelligence, and transitioned to sitcoms like Suddenly Susan, 1996-2000. But the world still saw her through the lens of that controversial past. In 2023, she finally took back her story. Her documentary Pretty Baby, Brooke Shields revisited the exploitation, the silence, and the cost of growing up famous. It wasn't just a reflection, it was reckoning. Today, Brooke Shields is an advocate for women's empowerment, aging with dignity, and mental health. She's not just a survivor, she's a woman who outgrew the spotlight's cruelty and turned it into a platform. Her early fame was built on other people's terms. Her legacy, that's hers alone.
Chaz Bono's original name was Chastity Son Bono. Chaz Bono didn't choose fame. He was born into it. As the only child of Sonny and Cher, Chaz appeared on the Sonny and Cher Comedy Hour, a smiling child with golden hair and the world watching. But behind the cameras, identity was a quiet war. In 1995, Chaz came out publicly as a lesbian, a bold move at a time when LGBTQ+ visibility was still rare. But that was only the beginning. Years later, he realized the labels still didn't fit. In 2008, Chaz began his gender transition, undergoing hormone therapy and surgery, and officially adopting his new name. It was a deeply personal transformation, but it happened in a blinding public glare. His journey became Becoming Chaz.
Realized that I was transgender around 2000, and I didn't start my transition until 2009.
2011. a raw, intimate film that premiered at Sundance and aired on OWN. Instead of running from the media, he used it. He became a vocal advocate for transgender rights, working with GLAAD, the Human Rights Campaign, and helping shift culture. One interview, one speech at a time. He also returned to performing, but this time on his own terms, from Dancing with the Stars to gritty roles in American Horror Story. Chaz carved out a space in Hollywood where authenticity came first. Today, he continues to act, write, and advocate. He's found peace and purpose in simply being real. His story isn't just about gender, it's about truth. It's about standing tall in the face of judgment and becoming the person you were always meant to be in front of the entire world. Kenan Thompson, known as Kenan. Kenan Thompson didn't just appear on your TV, he lived there. In the 90s, he became a household name through all that. Nickelodeon's answer to SNL for kids. His comedic timing was already razor sharp. Then came Kenan and Kel, a buddy comedy that turned him into a certified teen star. Orange soda jokes, slapstick chaos. Kenan was everywhere. And just when most child stars began to fade, Kenan took a different route. He leveled up.
You know, SNL is one of those jobs, if you don't get it, you live with that, you know, kind of for the rest of your life.
In 2003, he joined the cast of Saturday Night Live, a risky move for a former kid actor. But not only did he adapt, he thrived. Sketch by sketch, character by character, Kenan became the glue of the show. Eventually, he made history, becoming the longest tenured cast member in SNL history. His sketches, like the endlessly funny What Up With That, became modern classics. Off SNL, he headlined his own NBC sitcom, Kenan, 2021-2022, while still holding down his late-night post. Today, Kenan remains an active part of SNL, still shaping sketch comedy, still showing up every week. But Kenan's journey wasn't scandal-filled, and maybe that's what makes it extraordinary. No arrests, no tabloids, just decades of laughter, consistency, and craft. In an industry addicted to chaos, Kenan built a legacy on stability and became a comedy king by simply showing up every week for over 20 years. Brandon Hall. But on screen, he's always known as Bug Hall. In 1994, Bug Hall became the face of mischief and innocence, as Alfalfa in The Little Rascals, with that signature cowlick, sweet earnestness, and his cracked voice singing, "You Are So Beautiful," he stole hearts instantly. Kids saw him as funny, adults saw him as charming. Hollywood saw him as the next big thing. He followed up with family hits like The Big Green, 1995, and Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves, 1997. For a while, it looked like he'd ride that wave of child stardom, straight into a stable acting career. But like so many before him, the glow dimmed. Roles dried up, the spotlight moved on. In 2020, Bug made headlines, not for a comeback, but for an arrest related to inhalant abuse.
Little Rascals star Brandon Bug Hall has been arrested on suspicion of inhaling air duster.
He later opened up about his struggles and the void that fame had left behind. That moment became a turning point. Bug Hall didn't chase redemption on screen. He chose to vanish from it. He turned to faith, embraced Catholicism, and moved to a rural farm with his wife and children. Today, he lives quietly in the Midwest, far from red carpets, preaching online about family, modesty, and faith. His story isn't about revival, it's about retreat, about choosing a life with deeper roots, over one with constant applause. Alfalfa grew up, turned down the noise, and walked away, not lost, but finally found.
Tatum O'Neal's most well-known nickname is Tantrum. At just 10 years old, Tatum O'Neal made history. Her role as the sharp-tongued Addie Loggins in Paper Moon, 1973, earned her an Academy Award, the youngest person ever to win one. Critics hailed her brilliance, audiences adored her, but no one asked, what does that kind of pressure do to a child? Behind the historic win was a turbulent home. Her father, actor Ryan O'Neal, was emotionally distant and volatile. Her mother struggled with addiction. Tatum was famous, but never really safe. She starred in hits like The Bad News Bears, 1976, and Little Darlings, 1980. But inside, the spotlight was already burning her out. As she entered adulthood, the fame faded, but the pain didn't. She became entangled in a toxic, high-profile marriage to tennis legend John McEnroe, marked by drug abuse, custody battles, and emotional warfare. Her struggles with heroin addiction were brutal and public. Multiple arrests, overdoses.
Addiction is a disease. It is not a moral affliction. I felt morally bankrupt. I felt morally less than.
But she didn't give up. Tatum fought her way back, slowly, painfully. She took small roles in Rescue Me, appeared on Dancing with the Stars, and embraced the journey of rebuilding. She later became an advocate for mental health and addiction recovery, using her scars to help others heal. Today, she continues to write, speak, and mentor, quietly guiding others through storms she's already survived. Tatum O'Neal's story isn't just about a child star who fell. It's about a woman who learned to rise, again and again. Mae Whitman is sometimes called Bland Ann by fans. Mae Whitman's face may not be plastered on every billboard, but if you grew up watching 90s movies, you've seen her. She was the president's daughter in Independence Day, 1996, quietly stealing scenes with big, expressive eyes and natural charm. Even earlier, she held her own next to Meg Ryan in When a Man Loves a Woman, 1994. No small feat for a 6-year-old. But Mae wasn't chasing fame. She grew into Hollywood like a vine, twisting, adapting, surviving. She became a go-to voice actress in shows like Avatar, The Last Airbender, and American Dragon. Then came her unforgettable turn in Arrested Development as Anne Veal, the hilariously forgettable Her. Her true breakout came in Parenthood, 2010 to 2015, playing Amber Holt, a teen filled with anger, ambition, and aching vulnerability. It was raw. It was brilliant. Then came Good Girls, 2018 to 2021, where she played Annie, a single mom turned amateur criminal. She flexed both comedy and chaos, and delivered with heart. Mae Whitman never spiraled, never exploded. She just grew.
And I think actually it can be, if you choose the right projects and you're around the right people, it can be like a really nurturing, exciting, creative environment. So I really loved every minute of it.
She once joked she's Hollywood's backup girl, but fans know better. She's the secret weapon, the one who makes everything around her better. Today, Mae continues to act in indie films and voiceover hits, choosing roles that speak, not scream. In a town obsessed with flash, Mae built a career on truth.